Shalom, shalom, beloveds. I just wanted to tap in really quick and speak to y'all today about two different types of authorities, right? So we know that there's humble authority and that there's arrogant authority. And so, in the midst of the weapons that form in our lives, the reason why the weapons form is to be able to have a sense of something to be able to work through. If we know that the Most High always does work within us, right? We're not perfected until we're, in the presence of the Most High, which would mean that we're in our celestial bodies, which would mean that we have transitioned from this realm into the spiritual realm of the heavens, right? And so, when we understand this, then we know that throughout life, many storms will come continuously, Some not back to back, some throughout time and space, on our journey in this path of life. However, these things are used in order for the Most High to be able to work with us and through us, right? And so, one thing that I know is that with being able to grow, it comes with pains. There's a such thing as growing pains, right? I spoke on this before in another video. In those growing pains, those come with storms and those come with challenges, things that we're able to triumph through and over, if you will, right? And so, whenever a person recognizes their authority, as we walk in the Spirit and we walk, with the Holy Spirit, and we walk, with the Most High Yah, and we walk, with the Lord Yahushua Mashiach, Jesus the Christ, right? In life, in our journey and path, then there's times whenever we can end up becoming a little arrogant, in authority, right? Just like Elijah was whenever he was in the wilderness, after he faced Jezebel and he was praying to the Most High and was like that he's the last prophet alive, right? And so the Most High had to remind him that, have you not considered that there are 7,000 that I still have that have not bowed to bow, right? And so when we see that, then we also see that even with Job, whenever Job, was saying that it was because of him that he was doing, that some of these things were done, instead of basically giving the glory to the Most High. And so we knew that he had authority. He recognized that he had authority, just like Elisha recognized that he had authority, right? However, it was in an arrogant way. This comes with the spirit of Leviathan, which is pride and ego and all these type of things, right? And so in the midst of whenever you're able to do something so great, there has to be something that can be produced as a counterweight in your life in order for you to be able to remain humble. This is another way that he tries our hearts to see that if we don't get too big for our britches, right, our spiritual britches, right? And so he will allow situations to happen to see where our heart posture is, to know if he should go further with us or if he should keep us right there at that point in order for us to be able to learn those things, in order to be able to grow into who we're supposed to be, right? So many times, many people will kind of lose the faith or whatever if they have been walking in, in their storms, or they've been walking, in their purpose, right? And as they've been walking in their purpose for a long time, then sometimes, it becomes a commonality of comfortability. And so within this, they tend to either lose track of the mission of what they're supposed to do, or, some don't, some, understand for what it is and they push forward, right? But I'm talking about the ones that do not, the ones that tend to feel like that, okay, well, I've been doing this walk and it's going to, where is it going to lead me? Is it going to be anything that, that shows itself where I don't see it, right? We have to keep in mind that with Moses, it was over 80 years for Moses, We know that it wasn't overnight with Abraham, right? We know that even with Joseph, it wasn't an overnight process. You see, this thing exceeded 20 years time span, right? And so we know that in our lifetimes that we have to be able to work these three things in order for the faith to be able to be worked out strongly in our lives. So obedience. Whenever we work out the obedience, then we're able to work out the trust. And whenever we're able to work out the trust, then we're able to work out the patience. And once we work out the patience, then we're able to work out the faith. These are the anchors. These are things that will anchor us into being who we're supposed to be and operating how we're called to be able to move, right? Having the trust and releasing the control to the Most High. One thing that I'm a firm believer of is that you cannot accept blessings with both hands clenched. Whenever you realize this, then you're able to really be able to release and let go, right? I consider it catch and release. You will end up catching, a lesson or catching a storm or catching something that comes as a challenge or whatever, but you release it and you give it to the Most High. There's too many verses that speak about, giving our burdens to the Most High. As we know, Matthew 11:28 through 30, come, all ye who are heavy labored, I will give you rest. Take up my yoke is light. And so we know that we're releasing those burdens, those yokes that we have over us, right? Also, we know in Psalms 55:22, where it speaks about cast thy burdens upon the Lord, he shall never suffer the righteous to be moved, right? And he shall sustain thee. We see that. And so he wants to take our burdens. So he gives us these storms for him to be able to work through, because he knows that we can't do it. There's too many scriptures that speak about, and there's one in particular that speaks about basically that it is not of our own doing. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm remembering correctly, it's Paul that had wrote that, was saying that it's not of our own doing. You know what I'm saying? Everyone must work out their own salvation, most definitely. But it's not to our own doing that we are saved. We are saved by the grace. We are saved by salvation. We are saved by he who has already conquered these things, that has given us the keys in life to be able to conquer these things. One of the parts of the keys that's used in order to conquer these things is to know that in the midst of the storms that these things are used in order for him to be able to grow us even further. Trees don't grow from the sky. Trees grow in the ground. This means they grow in the dark place. They grow in the darkness. They grow in the dirt, right? Seeds are not sown, on concrete. Seeds are sown in soil, whether it be dry soil or whether it be moist soil. It can be good or bad soil, but they're going to grow regardless. Even if there's seeds that's grown under the concrete and the concrete has a crack in it, then the seed can possibly grow through that. But we know that the main thing about it is being able to be faithful in the process. And so what I'm saying to say all this is that whenever you face many different storms in your life, whenever you facing certain things and you know that, that you have some form of authority, because the highest position that we have been given over the land is to be given dominion, right? And also we're able to have commands over the angels as they are given charges over us, right? So this shows that there is a sense of some type of responsibility that's supposed to be worked out. And so when we understand that there's a sense of responsibility that's supposed to be worked out, then we are able to walk into what we're supposed to do, in keeping in mind that these things that we face in life are only just to be used as a counterweight for him to be able to work through us, with us, and for us, because his will is righteous, is a will above all. He wishes that none shall perish. He wishes that everybody shall be able to, achieve the great things, the goodness, to be able to make it through the wilderness into the promised land, right? But if we're not obedient and we're not really coherent and observant into the lessons, then sometimes we'll get lost in those lessons. He allows the enemy to be able to work certain things, and some things that the enemy does, or some things that work against us, is not always the enemy. Sometimes he will allow us to go through certain pains or certain things in order for us to learn something, so we can be mature and we can be able to endure the thing that he's called us and set us forth to be able to do. So next time, whenever you realize that maybe you might be too heady, or you might be humble or whatever, just keep in mind that through the storms, that these things are meant to be able to form great character in you, and to make sure that you grow. Shalom, peace.